Now, fans of sci-fi, listen up, especially if you're visually impaired. Feel the Force is coming, and it's coming very soon. To tell us a little bit more, we have Jonathan Lucia-Wright with us. Jonathan, thank you very much for joining us. This sounds like a fantastic event.
I hope so. It's really taken off. The response has been fantastic, which is great. It sort of started quite a while ago. I used to work with deafblind people, and there was two people in particular that sort of got me thinking about this sort of thing. One of them is a gentleman named Alex, who is Star Wars mad, but he was born blind. He knows the films. He's never seen them, and therefore knows nothing about the characters, the costumes, the spaceships, the whole overall appearance of the films. And another one of my friends is called Jimmy, who was born deaf and went blind at the age of 18. He's now in his 40s. He knew nothing about Star Wars until about 5 years ago, and I started showing him toys and describing and interpreting things to him. And then that got me thinking that if that was me, I'd want to know more, especially, well, from both sides of the coin. One, I don't think I could cope without Star Wars, because it's been quite a big thing in my life, and the same with a lot of people. And also, Alex is really passionate about it, and he knows it script by script. He does the voices, but not knowing the appearance of things and how things look, and there's a whole world there that can be explored. You can't just get up and go out and find a full-size stormtrooper outside your house. And this sort of got me thinking, right, it would be good to do something, especially like that in Peterborough, because there's quite a lot of visually impaired here. There's quite a lot of big charities with lots of various disabled people in the area that would probably have not been to maybe a convention or a day like this before for various reasons: money, time, transport, support. It's not always an easy thing to get to. So it started off as a little me and a few visually impaired friends sitting around a table with some props, and it's sort of gone kaboom, and the response has been phenomenal.
There's a lot going to be at this. You're going to have some of the actors coming along as well. You've got lots of things for people to get their hands on. I mean, I was fortunate enough before I lost my sight to see the movies. I'm a bit of a sci-fi fan, and they were amazing. And I can appreciate now, not having my sight with perhaps the newer of the three films coming out, that yes, some of the things I could see a little bit, but a lot's just completely just not there. I don't know what they look like. I can imagine it, but to get the chance to actually get your hands on some of the items and meet the people, talk to them, it sounds like a rather unique event for people with sensory impairments.
Well, I hope so, and I hope that this is the start of something that will go on. Then looking at these things that may not be significant, they will lead into bigger things that maybe are important, and, days out and socialising. And so you start off small and hopefully, who knows? But
Absolutely.
I think another year, I think we can easily fill a lot bigger venue if we can find support.
I think the thing about Star Wars as well, Jonathan, is before Star Wars, there wasn't much when it came to the big franchises that pump out all the merchandise. It was kind of the first real one to do it, and did it extremely well. And that type of movie, there are so many things that people can get their hands on. You can pretty much, have the movie in your hands if you had the time and everything to actually go through it all.
My friend Jimmy, who's deafblind, he doesn't know the stories as such. He would probably find them quite boring if I sat and spoke to him. But he likes, through Star Wars, he's discovered robots, which he knew nothing about. He's discovered monsters. He gets a great deal out of feeling toys. So obviously, there's toys everywhere, left, right and centre, which is great because, like you say, you can tell the story, the props are there. If you wanted to sit and I could interpret, if I could get hold of the toys, you could do a section at a time and quite easily go through everything, which is great.
Tell us a bit about the event then. What's going to be there for people?
Right, there's going to be 4 celebrities. Mr. Warwick Davis, which is great. The wonderful Alan Flying, who was an Imperial officer and a stormtrooper. Pam Rose, who was Layla Syrup, a lady in the cantina, and she had a very big head. So she was in Star Wars. And also Peter Burrows, who was a stunt Ewok. So they're going to be there. And they're coming along because they want to. So they're giving up their time and coming along. They're going to be doing a question and answer session. We're also going to be having a touch table, which started off with a few odds and bods of McDonald type toys and little bits and pieces that I've been picking up and people have been giving me. And then that sort of developed. A friend called Dan has delivered an original Millennium Falcon, which I've just put in storage, so that will be out to be touched. And then also Steve Sansweet, who runs the Rancho Obi-Wan, which is the biggest collection of Star Wars memorabilia ever. It's linked with George Lucas. They're donating some items as well, which is very, very exciting.
Absolutely, sounds great.
Being a Star Wars fan myself, it was like, ah. So that would be great, because it's the more things we have there that can explain what things are, what things look like, the shape of things, the texture of things. Very important. There's going to be lots of people in authentic costumes. These are the real to-do. There's been a lot of response there. And I'm also trying to get a large mix of costumes.
Jonathan, it sounds a great event. Give us the details. Where, when does it take place, and how do people get in touch with you about it?
Okay, it's on the 26th of October. The tickets are sadly limited due to the response has been through the roof. We've had to limit the tickets, and they are available online. If you look on Facebook for the First Sensory Legion, all the details are on there. The tickets are free, but we've just had to limit them because the hall only holds about 250 people, and we've had response of over 1,000.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Which is great.
Jonathan, wish you all the very best with the event, and thanks for telling us all about it on Insight Radio.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, earlier we were hearing about Feel the Force Day, giving visually impaired people the chance to meet some of the former cast of the Star Wars movies and get their hands on some of the models and find out a lot more about the movies themselves, the making of it. Sounds great. I wouldn't mind being there myself, actually. As I said, we'll get the chance to meet some of the characters there, and we have with us Pamela Rose. Pam, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So, tell me a little bit about the part you played in the movies.
I was one of the characters in the first Star Wars, which eventually came out as Episode 4, A New Hope, in the Cantina sequence, which is probably one of the most famous scenes in all of the movies. Everybody remembers the band and all the different creatures. So I was an alien, and I was lucky that my face wasn't covered, but they did give me a large bald head with little bits of hair stuck around it, and a very short outfit to wear.
I remember the scene itself, the band, very jazzy band kind of music, and lots of different characters. As you said, it was Episode 4, A New Hope. What was it like working on something like that? I mean, it was Stranger, the first one, although it was Episode 4.
Well, because I did quite a lot of filming, at the time it was just another job, and we didn't realise that there was going to be all this memorabilia and, you know, so many other films following in it and all the merchandising. But it was great fun because the makeup and the costumes and the masks and everything was so fantastic and bizarre and out of this world. My makeup alone took 2 hours every morning to put on and 1 hour every night to take off. So, you know, most people, they just had the mask to go on and off. But it was all made to measure, so it was very comfortable because a lot of people wondered if it was heavy. But no, it was very well fitted, just time consuming.
No one perhaps had any idea that the franchise, the merchandise would take off as much as it had. So does that mean you still travel about to conventions and things?
Yes, in the last 5 years I retired from my job in London and I rejoined my film agency. And because everything is now on the internet and her agency is on with us and people know the names, don't ask me how, and she started to get fan mail. So that was how it all started for me, people asking for my pictures and my autograph. And then in 2009, they actually brought out my action figure, which was a wonderful surprise, but nobody ever told me about it. One of my Facebook friends in France phoned me up and said, I've just bought your action figure, and that was the first I knew about it. But luckily he got them in London, so straight down to the shop to get them. So that was fantastic.
Immortalised forever.
Yeah.
Immortalised. Do you enjoy going to the convention? Obviously, we're talking about the Feel the Force one, which is coming up. Do you enjoy sort of meeting the people and chatting about it all over again?
I love it. And they're so enthusiastic. They probably know more about it than I do because they've watched it and they've copied the costumes, and the children are now sort of being introduced by dad or mum as a, enthusiast. And, I love them to come and have a picture and have a photo taken with me, and I usually take stuff down, that we can give away to them. And, this one is going to be exceptional because the people, as they are impaired a little bit, it will be nice for them to have quality time and to touch everything, and the costumers, and R2-D2's coming. So it will be really nice. Steve Sansweet, he's been very good. He's supplying a table where the people can touch the toys. Mm-hmm. So that would be fantastic for them. And I'm sure R2-D2 will love being touched up.
Well, Pam, I hope you have a great time at the exhibition. I'm sure everyone coming along will have a fantastic time. Wouldn't mind going along myself, actually. And thank you for telling us all about it on Insight Radio.
You're very welcome.